Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do, but it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you, when judgment comes for you, tell me what you gonna do, when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you, 'cause it's gonna come for you.
Making it for water, easy, see something Charlie. Little boo guy's got him, and I'm gonna miss everybody out of row and flows like eggs. Looked at a while, lag, and pray for dust, and they play too deep for being sad. Little legs I got to be. Tell me your feature deceased, would it please? Marry me by my grand, new way you can go follow
God bless you.
Back on Wrestling Network. Welcome back to the CrosUp. Your weekly look back at the week that was in professional wrestling. This week I'll be running through the results and happenings from Raw on October the 13th to SmackDown on October the 17th, as well as the Bound for Glory pay-per-view from last weekend and the WrestleDream pay-per-view from this weekend. So we'll actually open up with Bound for Glory. We're not starting with Raw like we usually do. We open with a video talking about the Legends in Boston as they are in Massachusetts. I believe they were in Lowell. And then they look at some current TNA superstars from the city, including Eddie Edwards, the one-time boy for tonight. And then it's now time for some new legends to rise up in their stead and make their name tonight. We start with a match for the International Championship where Steve Macklin wins back his International Championship from Frankie Kazarian via pinfall following the KIA. We then go to Trick Williams. He wants to know why he isn't being thanked for everything he's done around here for TNA. Yeah, he wears the TNA title upside down and that's because he's turned TNA upside down. He is the champion because he is what's best for business. We then get Tessa Blanchard defeating Gia Miller via pinfall following a shot with a roll of quarters. She had a roll of quarters in her hand, kind of delivered a pretty hard punch. And knocked her out with that one. Real one-sided match. I feel like I saw a lot of criticism for that one, and it was kind of deserved. It was, if you're going to use an announcer to kind of have a match with somebody, have him put up a little bit more of a fight, despite the fact that she's maybe not necessarily a trained wrestler per se, but it felt real kind of pointless. If she wasn't going to win, if she can get dominated, but if she sneaks out a win somehow, then cool, but. To have her dominate the whole match and then still cheat and win, kind of crappy. I wasn't a big fan of the booking in that one. We'll then go to the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. It actually ended in a double pin between Frankie Kazarian and Nick Nemeth. And then Santino comes out and decides that they will share the cup going forward. So they don't set up another match. They don't do an overtime or a sudden death or anything like that. So they will share the cup. I'm assuming it will end in a match at some point where somebody will take the ownership of the cup by themselves. But we end in a double pin situation for the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Other participants in the match were Lei Ying Lee, Mara Sade, Ryan Nemeth, Cedric Alexander, Rich Swann, AJ Francis, Travis Williams, BDE, Myron Reed, Zachary Wentz, Trey Miguel, Danny Luna, Eric Young, Jake Something, Rosemary, the Hometown Man, Zach Clayton, Santino Marella himself was actually in it, Matt Cardona, and Mance Warner. So pretty, kind of just a way to get everybody. It's kind of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal of TNA, the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. It's just a kind of way to get everybody on the biggest show of the year. We'll then go to our Knockouts Women's Championship match. Kalani Jordan defeats Andy Hartwell and retains. She hits the one-of-a-kind moonsault and gets the win. They kind of shake hands and raise each other's hands after the match. We then go backstage to the Nemesis. They have the Call Your Shot Gauntlet trophy with them, but Kazarian comes in, says it belongs to him, and then they argue over who it belongs to, obviously, being two heels, kind of bitching back and forth at each other. We then get the System defeating Order 4 in the Hardcore War when Eddie Edwards does a barbed wire loaded Boston knee party to Ali to get the win. So Ali taking a random pinfall that you wouldn't expect on a big stage here. We then get our X Division title match. Leon Slater and John Evans actually go to a 20-minute time limit draw. They're actually granted 5 more minutes. They go about 4 of the 5 more minutes. Then the lights go out and Dark State comes out and takes them both out. So it ends in a no contest. An absolutely fantastic match. that kind of gets ruined by some interference. But I have a feeling they'll go back at it and do it again. But they're just trying to get Dark State over. A lot of people hated on this one as well, kind of cutting them off at the knees. Just trying to continue to push Dark State as a force and kind of a problem in these situations that they don't play favorites. They're going to attack who they want to attack, where they want to attack them. So I get it, but it does kind of suck that they didn't get a finish in that one. We then get Chris Bay coming out to announce a new North American attendance record for TNA at 7,794 fans. He then sends us to the video package for the next match, and that is the tag team title match where the Hardys defend their titles successfully against Team 3D in a tables match by they win the match by ending it with a double spine buster on Bubba. And then they retain their championships. They have a big stare down and a showing of respect after the match. And Team 3D actually takes off their boots and hands them to the Hardys. And then they hug some more and raise each other's hands before we go to our next announcement. So Team 3D seemingly retiring here. I know Devon was pretty much already retired, but I guess this seems that maybe Bubba is officially done as well. We get announced that Genesis is going to be the next pay-per-view, and it is going to be in Dallas in January. So a little bit of a distance away, but they'll do one of those little special event shows somewhere in the middle there. So, but that's the next big show that they are building towards. So, and then we go to our main event where Mike Santana defeats Trick Williams via pinfall following the spin the block clothesline to become the new TNA World Champion. After the match, Nick Nemeth is out with the Call Your Shot trophy, but Elijah pops up out of nowhere and blasts him over the head with a guitar to take him out. Kazarian then tries to get the cup and cash in as well, but he gets absolutely blasted with a spin the block as well. Santana is presented the title from the TNA executive, and then he hands it to his daughter, who is in the ring in a really awesome moment for both of them. The Puerto Rican flag is then brought into him, and Santana poses with the title and the flag and his daughter to end the show. So really awesome moment for him. Glad they finally pulled the trigger. If they had kind of not pulled the trigger here, it would have been really tough scene. So I'm glad they finally gave him the belt. Trick did well with it. He did exactly what he needed to do. He was a good shit heel with it, and he put over a big star for TNA on the other side. So the main event was very good, but Slater and Evans was probably one of the better TNA matches of the year, if not the best that we've seen. And both of those guys continue to just, blow everything else in TNA out of the water. Slater for sure, and then Evans has been really, really awesome in NXT lately. So those two guys are the future, and they have very bright ones for sure. But we will go to our usual starting point, which is Raw. We get a Crown Jewel recap, which was obviously the previous Saturday. The Vision come out. The fans are not happy to see Seth Rollins, who they again call him a wanker. Seth actually calls them a bunch of wankers before doing the usual visionary, revolutionary, all that good stuff. He praises each member of the Vision, including giving Paul Heyman a kiss on the head and saying that Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are incredibly successful and have been that way since joining him. Rollins asked the fan who the greatest world heavyweight champion of all time is. Reality is that he has beaten CM Punk and Roman Reigns on his own. He didn't need the men in the ring, but rather he chose all of them. He doesn't need them, but he chose them. Rollins is the greatest of all time. He has proven it and will continue to prove it because he is. He is exactly that. We then get Penta in the backstage. He runs into Rusev. He says he is facing the winner of tonight's Intercontinental Championship match at a later date. I believe it's the next week. But he says if that's Penta, Rusev recommends prayer because pain is coming his way. Dom kind of walks by in the background a little bit. He sees Rusev and Penta, and then he kind of just goes the other direction. We then get the Intercontinental Championship match, and Dom sneaks out another win. He gets a He actually steals the ring bell from the timekeeper at some point in the match, and he uses the hammer to kind of hit Penta in the knee with it, sets up the 619, and then hits the frog splash to really put the finishing touches on it. So he's still the Intercontinental Champion. We then get LA Knight. He is ready to face CM Punk tonight, and then he is moving on to go after the world title. Punk comes in to say that LA Knight hasn't beaten him, and isn't going to beat him tonight. And LA Knight disagrees with that, of course. We then get Asuka. She yells at Kairi Sane for losing their match at Crown Jewel. So Sane offers to talk to Io Sky. That's not what Asuka wants, but rather for her to face Rhea Ripley tonight. Kairi seems kind of surprised by that, even though the match was announced earlier on in the show. So I think this is kind of supposed to be one of those conversations that's kind of from earlier today or whatever. So Kairi then shows off a big bruise on her head, and she gets slapped again by Asuka for kind of being non-compliant or whatever. But then we go to that match where Rhea Ripley defeats Kairi Sane via pinfall following a riptide despite constant attempted interference by Asuka, and Io kind of cuts her off. After the match, Rhea goes after Asuka, but Kairi makes the save with a kendo stick. Asuka then DDTs Rhea on the announcer's table. We then go to the Usos in the back. Jimmy does not get why Roman Reigns is mad at them over just trying to help. Jay says they have to worry about their own business, with Jimmy not liking Jay's tone. And then he basically has implied that Jay is telling him to deal with his shit on his own, so he's going to deal with Bronson Reed on his own tonight. We then get that match where Bronson Reed defeats Jimmy Uso following a tsunami via pinfall, obviously. After the match, Braun Breaker shows up for a super spear, but Jay runs in to make the save before he goes up to the outside and actually gets hit with a super spear instead. Jay is able to fight back and run the Vision off. Jimmy appreciates that Jay comes out there, but Jay really didn't want to get involved tonight as he has a big triple threat later on tonight. Lyra isn't sure if she can trust Bayley against Judgment Day and says this is just a one-time thing, and Bayley kind of laughs that off. We then get Bayley and Lyra. They actually defeat the Judgment Day when Bayley hits the Rose Plant on Roxanne. We go to the back. We're with the Vision once again. Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman talk about how great things have been, how great they will be going forward. Rollins knows something amazing is on the horizon. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker come in with Rollins saying that they are close to the top of the mountain and nothing can stop them. We then get AJ Styles. He comes up to Adam Pearce and says Crown Jewel was amazing, though it would have been better if he had won. Dominic Mysterio comes up and asks where his attention is, and says he's the only champion defending his title around here. AJ actually agrees with this and says that he and Dragon Lee would love a tag team title shot against Dom's Judgment Day buddies. Pierce says this works for him and says Dom can be the one to tell the champs that they have a title match coming up next week. We then get Stephanie Vaquer. She comes out to cut a promo. She is happy to have won her fourth title in just a year of being in WWE. Judgment Day, obviously Raquel and Roxanne come out to interrupt. They both say they should be champion instead. So Stephanie tells them to do something about it. Roxanne says she'll do it, but on her own time. We then get our main event where CM Punk defeats Jey Uso and LA Knight when he hits the GTS on Jey. This makes him the number one contender for the World Heavyweight title. After the match, Punk starts to celebrate, but the Vision comes out, obviously, with Braun Breaker hitting a spear on each Jey Uso and LA Knight. Punk gets beaten down as well, and Rollins talks some major trash while this is all happening. And then, out of nowhere, with all of the faces out of the ring, Braun Breaker spears Rollins, turning on him, and then Breaker basically looks at Bronson Reed and says, you're either with him or you're with me. And he chooses to be with Braun Breaker. Heyman looks absolutely stunned while all this is going on. Bronson Reed then gives Rollins the tsunami. And they basically both look at Heyman and tell him, you've got to choose him or us. And Heyman chooses the two Brawns and raises their arms. And Breaker is holding the World Heavyweight title up to end the show. So kind of out of nowhere, the turn here for the Vision. It's obviously coming as a result of Rollins' injury. It's all but been confirmed that he tore his rotator cuff during the match against Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel. He did a coast-to-coast headbutt, and he landed just like right on it. So, I mean, he's getting to the point where he's old enough to where he shouldn't be taking stupid bumps like that. I know he's trying to get the best match possible, and he's not a guy that's going to hold back. He's that's just not the performer he is. He's going to go all out. He's going to do some crazy shit to entertain the fans because that's just what kind of wrestler he is. So, but obviously, it's positioning Breaker and Reed as the top heels on Raw going forward. I believe it's been said on Twitter and the internet and stuff that Adam Pearce is going to make an announcement about the belt and about Rollins going forward on Raw tomorrow night. But yeah, real out of nowhere. Obviously seems to be as a result of the injury, but you can kind of see throughout the night if you read into what kind of Rollins has been saying, or Rollins said throughout the night about not really needing anybody, that he was guiding them. He saw things on the horizon, and saying that the other two guys are close to the top of the mountain. Well, this is the thing that may push them over to the top of the mountain. So CM Punk's the number one contender for the world title, but I don't think he's going to have a match that involves him having a world title shot with Rollins. I think Rollins is going to be out. I think he's going to be out well past Mania next year. So we'll see kind of where they go from here. I assume they'll do some kind of mini tournament. Maybe they'll run back the triple threat, have Punk win again. But hopefully, the two Brawns, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, take this and really use it to their advantage, and take advantage of the opportunity that they're probably about to be presented. I believe at least one of them will be in a world title match at WrestleMania, if not both of them. So, but we'll see kind of where it goes. But I think Braun Breaker at least will face either Cody Rhodes or whoever the new World Heavyweight Champion is going to be going forward at WrestleMania next year. I think he wins the Rumble and ends up being world champion coming out of Mania next year. So, but we'll see. That's just an early prediction. But Penta and Dom was the best match for Raw. The triple threat was good as well, but it's kind of a combination I feel like we've seen multiple times at this point. It's not totally new. I feel like WWE's to the point where like the draft needs to happen, and we need to do a little bit of mix up, especially in the tag divisions. I'll get to that later on when I talk about something that happened on SmackDown. But I think the draft this would be a good time to kind of have something like that happen. So we'll see. But we'll move from there to NXT. We open with a long recap of Showdown, which was last week. Ricky Saints comes out to get things going. He talks about Trick Williams, how he quit last week during the Showdown match, and he calls Trick soft. Trick pops up on the screen to say that they'll deal with their issues at a certain point, that Trick decides that he's ready for it. Ricky then says he wants to fight, and he throws out a challenge for Halloween Havoc for the NXT Championship. We then go to Javon Evans and Leon Slater. They talk about their Bound for Glory match and how it was interrupted by Dark State. They want some revenge when the Hardys come in as well. They think Dark State's attack was a shot at them, and they're ready to lay in receipts in their rematch with Dark State at Halloween Havoc for the NXT Tag Team titles. Javon and Leon say they have the Hardys back anytime, and then kind of freak out like little kids who just saw their heroes and talk to them. We then go to earlier today. We get kind of one of those NXT anonymous Twitter little videos where Jordan Grace and Kalani Jordan kind of argue in the back. And then Jordan kind of leaves and says she'll see her in the Battle Royal later tonight. We then get Josh Briggs. He defeats Matt Cardona via pinfall following a series of reversals that ends and a brutal big boot from Josh Briggs to get the pin. We look at Hank and Tank. They're talking to Chase U. Lyra Valkyria is also back there. The Culling come up to pull Valkyria away. Izzy Dame mocks the idea of the two teams getting a tag team title shot, but Andre Chase seems to think a triple threat number one contenders match would be a good idea. And then Izzy Dame promises to win the Battle Royal while Valkyria kind of low-key hopes Tatum Paxley is able to pull it off as she is her buddy. We then get video of Fatal Influence. They want to reshape the women's division. They are glad Jasmine Nix is gone, and they have replaced her with the person that has helped them a lot lately, and that is Lainey Reed. So Lainey Reed now takes the Jasmine Nix spot. Kind of has been alluding to that a lot lately, so good to see it officially happen. We then get El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. defeating Lexis King via pinfall following a Michinoku driver. After the match, Wagner calls out Ethan Page, who comes out to say how tiring it is to be the North American champion. They seem to commit to a match at Halloween Havoc, but Wagner says it's going to be a Day of the Dead match where anything goes. So kind of a no-holds-barred match for the North American Championship between Dr. Wagner Jr. and Ethan Page. We then go to Sol Ruca and Zarya. They are talking about just kind of everything that's been going on with them lately. Zarya can't believe that Sol is also going to be in the Battle Royal tonight. How many belts could she possibly need, as she's already the Speed Champion and the North American Women's Champion? Zarya was hoping for Sol to be in her corner tonight against Blake Monroe, but apparently Sol is too busy. Santino Marella and Ava are in the back with Javon Evans and Leon Slater. They won a tag match at Halloween Havoc, but Stax and Ariana Grace come in, and Stax wants an X Division title shot and gets it. We hear some commotion going on in the background, and Trick Williams has attacked and laid out Ricky Saints. We then get Blake Monroe. She defeats Zarya via pinfall following a double arm DDT. We then get Ava announcing a men's speed title number one contenders tournament. I believe El Grande Americano is the men's speed champion. I believe that's correct. I believe actually Chad Gable won it, and Mr. Kaiser has been the one defending it in his stead since he became the true El Grande Americano. We then get the number one contenders tag team triple threat, but it ends in a no contest. Hank and Tank, Chase U, and the Culling all battle for a little while, but OTM returns and attacks them all, lays them all out, and the fans seem to be very happy to see OTM back and laying everyone out in this situation. We then go back to Sol Ruca and Zarya again. They kind of apologize to each other, and Sol actually gives Zarya her spot in the Battle Royal as a sign of good faith and being a good friend. We then get Ricky Saints. He is looking for Trick Williams, but Ava says that Trick is gone. They'll see each other next week at Halloween Havoc for their contract signing. They'll actually do the contract signing on NXT, and then Halloween Havoc will be that following weekend. We then go back to the back, and we see that Dark State has attacked the Hardys as well. So Dark State really making their mark. And then we can do our number one contenders battle royal for the women's title shot at Halloween Havoc. And Tatum Paxley wins when she helps Izzy Dame eliminate Jordan Grace. But Izzy Dame kind of goes with the clothesline a little too much and tumbles out, as well as Tatum kind of hangs on the apron. So Tatum Paxley, your number one contender, kind of out of nowhere, but obviously is to kind of push a little bit of a rift between her and the rest of the Culling. The other participants in the Battle Royal were Lash Legend, Lei Ying Lee, Zaya Brookside, Victoria Crawford, Jada Parker, Kendall Gray, Ren Sinclair, Carmen Petrovich, Zarya, Mara Sade, Kalani Jordan, Cassie Lee, Jessie McKay, Ariana Grace, Callie Armstrong, Heather by Elegance, Thea Hale, and Lola Vice. Fatal Influence comes out after the match, and Lyra Valkyria comes out to celebrate with Tatum to end the show. So JC Jane versus Tatum Paxley, not one that I probably would have had written down on paper, but that is going to be your women's title match at Halloween Havoc. As far as best match for NXT, there were only 3 matches, I believe, so kind of low on matches. But Briggs and Cardona would be my pick for match of the night. The Battle Royal was, kind of a basic Battle Royal, nothing special. But well, actually, I think we had more matches than I thought, but it's still kind of low on matches, especially with how long the Battle Royal kind of took up. So, but not the best in-ring show for sure. But Briggs and Cardona was pretty solid. We'll go from there to Dynamite. We stupidly look at Kota Ibushi breaking his leg again on Collision. So not only did they go through with showing the match, they showed a replay on it to start Dynamite. Jack Perry obviously saves him. Or no, Kenny Omega saves him, and then Jack Perry saves Kenny Omega. Omega doesn't trust Perry, but we'll see where they can or if they can get on the same page tonight. Renee Paquette starts the show sitting down with Tony Storm and Chris Statlander for their final words before their title match. Storm says she needs the title belt back and is ready to do anything to get it. If that means being murdered by Statlander, so be it. Statlander says she is constantly evolving, so the woman who beat Tony Storm for the title is already gone. She is the champion and will be forever. Tony Storm gets up and they go face to face, with Storm saying they'll meet each other in the ring. Paquette is frustrated and seems to toss it back to ringside. Tony Storm and Chris Statlander both do come to the ring and they start to battle. Tony Storm hands her the belt and drops to her knees, only to German suplex Chris Statlander down. Then Statlander drops to her knees as Storm picks up the title, which she hands to Statlander and leaves. We then go to Jack Perry cutting a piece of wood, says he doesn't hate the Young Bucks. He is happy with what they did together, and they weren't there when he needed them the most. That's why he had to look to his past for help, and that is why he is back with a Luchasaurus, of course. We then go to the Gates of Agony. They defeat the Hurt Syndicate of Lashley and Benjamin when Ricochet sneaks in while the ref is distracted and hits the Spirit Gun on Benjamin, allowing Bishop Khan to get the pinfall victory. We then look at Darby Allin getting into a fight with Jon Moxley at New York Comic Con that happened last week. We got it earlier today. They're kind of sitting on one of those like jail rooms where they have the glass in between them and they have the phones and they're kind of talking to each other through the glass. Moxley and Allin, they do that obviously. Moxley says the game is rigged in both directions because neither of them will ever quit. Darby can join the Death Riders and end this, but he doesn't respect Moxley. Why would he want to join someone who treated Bryan Danielson the way that they did? Moxley says sacrifices have had to be made, but Darby talks about how he saw the freedom at the top of Mount Everest. Now Moxley is chipping away at everything around here, though Moxley says Darby is fighting ghosts of his past. Pac then shows up behind Darby and smashes his head into the desk a few times and then into the window as he kind of slinks down it and his blood kind of smears on the glass. So really brutal stuff there from Pac and on Darby. But just kind of a last shot before they go into an I Quit match this weekend, Mox and Darby. We then go to Claudio Castagnoli. He defeats Roderick Strong via pinfall following Swiss death. The Don Callis family is having a birthday party for Don. They sing him a quick happy birthday. Callis says this is all about power and is presented with a video of Konosuke Takeshita. This happened after he won the IWGP title, but he promises to win the IWGP title for Don Callis. He obviously succeeded in that fact. Okada cuts the video off, and then they toast to the Don Callis family. We then get video of Takeshita winning the title earlier this week. We then get Jurassic Express and Kenny Omega defeating the Don Callis families, represented this time by Hinchicero, Josh Alexander, and Mark Davis. The Jurassic Express hit a springboard doomsday device on Hinchicero to get the win. After the match, the Young Bucks run in to jump the Jurassic Express, with Omega coming in to yell until Luchasaurus makes the save. Perry moonsaults out onto the entire Don Callis family and leaves them laying to end the segment. We go to our next match. Jamie Hayter defeats Sky Blue via pinfall following the Haterade. After the match, Tekla pops on the screen to say she attacked Hayter way back in the summer because Hayter was the one that just happened to be there at the time. At WrestleDream, they'll get toxic to the core, and Tekla will walk out the victor. We then go to Mercedes Moné. She brags about winning her 10th title, this time in Europe and Denmark. She ties the Ultimo Dragon's record for most championships at one time. She's going to defend her CMLL women's title on Friday, and on the same day, she will become the longest reigning TBS champion of all time. And we then get the Ops defending their trios championship successfully against La Facción and Gobernables. Dralistico, Mortos, and Roosh are the representatives in that one. When Samoa Joe gets Dralistico to tap to the Coquina clutch. After the match, LFI jump Joe and Roosh spits at Hangman Page, who comes in to clean house. LFI kind of bails at that moment. Joe then gets the world title and eventually hands it to Hangman before leaving to end the show. So a pretty nice little segment there to end the show. They did Dynamite and Collision back to back, so I'll get to Collision in just a second. But as far as Dynamite, Omega and the Jurassic Express versus Don Callis family would be my best match. We'll go on to Collision. The Death Riders, represented by Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia, defeat Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy of the Conglomeration when O'Reilly goes after Pac on the outside while the ref is distracted, allowing Claudio to take him out, and then he rolls him back in, and Garcia steals the pinfall. After the match, they continue to beat down. Ishii and Roderick Strong come out and try to make the save, but fail. Moxley grabs a microphone. Darby then limps out. Obviously, he's limping based on the earlier attack. Gets absolutely blasted by Claudio in the aisleway. Darby continues to crawl towards the ring. Shafir gives him a running shot to the head to continue to kind of just beat him down. Allen eventually climbs inside the ring as everyone else but Moxley brawls to the back with the Conglomeration. That leaves Darby to pull out the AEW flag from Mount Everest that he planted at the top. Says that Moxley can always quit, and then Moxley gives him a Death Rider onto the flag, so really spikes him on that AEW flag. We then go to Megan Bayne. She comes out for her match. She's with FTR and Stokely Hathaway this time. Bayne grabs the microphone to say that Willow Nightingale gave her everything she had, but it still wasn't enough. Now Nightingale is coming at her with another partner, and that just makes Nightingale look stupid. No matter what, Nightingale will always bow down to her. Stokely then grabs the mic, praises Kevin Knight, but doesn't understand why Knight hangs out with Mike Bailey, who looks like Billy Ray Cyrus if he had an autoimmune disorder. Dax then grabs the mic and brags about FTR's success against Jet Speed. And then Jet Speed, Nightingale, and Harley Cameron pop on the screen. Says they aren't scared and are ready to fight. So here they are. And they kind of, the guys end up kind of battling to the back. Megan Bayne then defeats Harley Cameron via pinfall following a running Liger Bomb. Eddie Kingston and Hook want to move into the tag team division, and they offer up an open challenge. We then get an interview with Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. They bicker some more and beg Tony Khan to not make them team again, as neither of them want to do so. And then we get our Collision main event where Mark Briscoe and Brodito defeat the Don Callis family, this time represented by Lance Archer, Kyle Fletcher, and Rocky Romero, when Brody King hits a sit-out tombstone on Romero. Briscoe and Fletcher brawl to the back, and El Clone comes out for a distraction. Okada comes in and takes out Bandito and Brody King on his own to pose with the tag team titles to end the show that him and Takeshita will be fighting for at WrestleDream. And then as far as match of the night for Collision, I would go with that main event, that tag team match. So 2 for 2 for the Don Callis family on these two shows. Just put in good spots, put in there with good talent. So really good night for the Don Callis family, I'd say. They didn't win. Obviously, they didn't win either match, but they had 2 pretty good performances. They did an Impact this week, but it was more of like a kind of a post Bound for Glory show. It was just doing a bunch of talking. They showed a lot of highlights for Bound for Glory. So if you didn't see the show, you could watch that and kind of see a little bit of what happened. So obviously not covering that this week. So we'll go straight to SmackDown. We open with a long recap of Crown Jewel, including including Seth Rollins beating Cody Rhodes for the Crown Jewel title. But then they also show the Vision turning on Rollins on Monday. Nick Aldis is in the ring to cut a promo. He talks about how the Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre match for later tonight is now a number one contenders match to face Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes then comes out, talks about losing to Rollins, who has his own issues on Raw, obviously. As for tonight, Rhodes will handle SmackDown business and will be very interested in this number one contenders match. And the road to Saturday night's main event runs through San Jose tonight. So the number one contender, whoever it may be, will face him at Saturday night's main event. We then get Solo Sikoa. He interrupts Rey Fenix in the back, and the rest of the MFTs beat him down. We then get our first match where Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss defeat Sol Ruca and Zarya. When Blake Monroe was in the front row, distracts Sol long enough for Charlotte to take out Sol's leg, gets her back in the ring, and makes her tap to the figure 8. After the match, the two teams shake hands. After that, Cody Rhodes is in the back, runs into Jacob Fatu. He promises to be coming for Cody after tonight, and Cody seems okay with that. Aleister Black and Zelina Vega then cut a promo. He's glad to be back, and he's glad to be with his wife, Zelina Vega. She describes the two of them as the mirror that shows the infections that exist in the world here on SmackDown. We then look back at at Solo and the MFTs interrupting the U.S. Open Challenge last week. Nick Aldis is in the back with The Miz when Sami Zayn interrupts. The U.S. Open Challenge seems to be off for tonight, as Aldis wants Shinsuke Nakamura to get a fair rematch, but he is not here tonight. They had a live event in Japan, and I think he was at that show instead of here at SmackDown tonight. Zayn says the challenge is important, and he's going to the ring, whether Aldis likes it or not, and then Miz quickly follows behind him. We then get Sami Zayn. He comes out for his open challenge, and The Miz seems to be the person that is going to answer it. But just like a few weeks ago, Carmelo Hayes gets a little bit of revenge and attacks Miz to take him out so he can't challenge for the U.S. title either. The returning Ilya Dragunov comes out, answers the open challenge, and is actually successful as he defeats Sami Zayn via pinfall following the H-bomb, and Ilya Dragunov is your new United States champion. After the match, the NXTs run in, beat down both guys. Rey Fenix comes in, tries to take him out, but ends up getting beaten down once again. Solo Sikoa asks if we've all forgotten that they were on SmackDown. The team will get everything his family lost, and they will be champions again. The Wyatt Six then pop up on the screen to say, "Seek and you will find," but be worried about what is on the other side. The Six then come up from behind on the MFTs. The fans seem to really pop for this idea, and Solo Sikoa and his MFTs end up leaving the ring instead of getting into a battle. Like I said earlier, they showed some video of the Australia/Japan tour. They obviously were in Perth for the Crown Jewel show, and then a good portion of I think it's mostly the Raw roster stayed over there. And did a show in Japan as well. So, but then we go to a highlight package of the women's Crown Jewel title match with Stephanie Vaquer beating Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton then gets interviewed, says she isn't happy about the loss, but she's moving forward. Kiana James comes in to say that attitude is why she wanted to represent Vaquer and not Stratton. Tiffany doesn't seem to like that very much and agrees to face Kiana James next week. We then go to earlier today. Los Garza interrupts the Motor City Machine Gun, celebrating their 1 year with the company and WWE, mocks them a little bit, and they have a match set up for later tonight. And in that match, the Motor City Machine Guns defeat Los Garza when they hit the Skull and Bones on Angel. To continue with the tag team division, Fraxium is in the back. They want to find their spot in the division, but they aren't sure how to make it happen. DIY comes in to make fun of them, saying nothing has changed in the last 2 months. And obviously, it seems like they will be facing each other at a later time. We then go to Jacob Fatu. He is laid out. He has been attacked, and he is bleeding profusely from his mouth. He has like a big structure kind of on top of him. It seems like he had kind of gotten knocked down, and they threw it on top of him. After the commercial break, Fatu is awake, but won't answer any questions about what happened. Drew McIntyre is then out for their scheduled match with Jacob Fatu, but instead mocks Fatu's injury. Nick Aldis comes out to threaten McIntyre if he did this, but McIntyre denies the whole thing. Cody Rhodes comes out to say that McIntyre knows what he did, so let's do the title match right now. The fight is on, and we obviously go to commercial break, and then we get an opening bell when we come back. Drew McIntyre is actually able to defeat Cody Rhodes, but it's by DQ when Cody Rhodes blasts Drew with the WWE Championship as they were battling on the outside. After the match, Rhodes loads up the announcer's table, but McIntyre is able to rake his eyes. They fight under the table, but security is able to eventually break it up, only for Rhodes to dive off the top rope in the ring onto a bunch of people to kind of end the show. So pretty hot ending. Obviously, I think we'll see Rhodes and McIntyre again, maybe at Saturday night's main event. So we'll see if they end up doing the match there again. I assume they will. But as far as match of the night, absolutely Dragunov versus Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's been awesome in these open challenge match. I hope Dragunov continues to do that because it was a really good part of SmackDown every week. And this was probably one of the best, if not the best, of the whole thing that they've done so far. So really good stuff. Sad to see the open challenge go if Dragunov didn't keep it going, but it was good while it lasted. But we will go to our last show, WrestleDream. It was just last night. We opened with Jamie Hayter defeating Tekla via pinfall following Haterade. After the match, Queen Aminata, who's kind of been Jamie Hayter's friend lately, comes out to celebrate with her. The hidden match on the pre-show between FTR and Jet Speed, it started on the pre-show and kind of bled into the main card, but that wasn't supposed to be on the main card, so I'm not going to cover it. But the next match was Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks. They win when they hit the Extinction on Matt to win the match. After the match, Jack Perry tries to make amends with the Bucks, but the Don Callis family runs in to beat them down. The Bucks leave instead of helping either side, and Kenny Omega comes out to kind of glare at the Bucks for not making the right decision, and then he runs in and kind of gets the Don Callis family to back away. We then get the Hurt Syndicate. They defeat the Demand when Lashley hits the spear on Bishop Khan to get the win. We then get Kyle Fletcher defeating Mark Briscoe via pinfall following a brainbuster on the top turnbuckle. After the match, the conglomeration come out to check on Mark Briscoe and kind of help him to the back. We then get Chris Statlander defeating Tony Storm via pinfall following the Saturday Night Fever. After the match, Mercedes Moné comes out to the ring for a big stare down. She brings up her open challenge for a title versus title match, and it is on. Mina Shirakawa, who is the interim Ring of Honor Women's TV Champion, answers the call, but Mercedes Moné defeats her and wins her belt with a pinfall with her feet on the ropes, to kind of cheat and get the victory. So she is now 11 titles deep. So she has the interim Ring of Honor Women's TV Championship. So just another pointless belt to add to the collection. We then get Chris Statlander kind of coming back out and comes out to kind of scare off Mercedes Moné while she's celebrating and while she might be thinking about attacking Mina Shirakawa. So obviously that seems to be the program going forward. Hopefully they let Statlander beat her. But I'm not holding out hope. We then get the tag team title match. Bandito retains, defeating Okada and Takeshita when Bandito hits the 21-plex on Okada to retain their championships. We then go to the back, and Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa said they have lost everything, but they at least still have each other. Obviously, it sounds like they're somewhat going to go for the tag team titles next. At least they're a tag team, if not champions on their own. Then maybe they can be champions together. We then go to our world title match. Hangman Page defeats Samoa Joe via pinfall, following 3 consecutive buckshot lariats. Post-match, the Ops come out to check on Joe, and they seem to be being respectful to Hangman Page, shaking his hand, holding his arm up. But then the Ops turn on Hangman Page, and a muscle buster onto the belt knocks Hangman silly. We then go to the back. Mercedes Moné yells about Chris Statlander ruining her big night and wants her in a women's world title match at Full Gear. So next pay-per-view, Full Gear, she wants to face for the women's world title once again. And then we go to our main event, and Darby Allin defeats Jon Moxley in the I Quit match by getting him to quit while locked in the Scorpion Deathlock. Sting had returned throughout this match. He didn't attack Moxley at all. He gave Darby the bat and kind of ran off Shafir and the rest of the Death Riders. So he didn't get physically involved whatsoever or anything like that. I will say, for as batshit and crazy as some of their other matches have been, this really didn't touch that. I will say Moxley did kind of try to drown Darby at one point. They brought out like an aquarium, and he kind of dunked his head in there and seemingly was trying to drown him at certain points. This didn't go to that absurd level, which was a good thing and a bad thing. I feel like as batshit as their previous matches have been, this needed to be kind of that level. But as much shit as they put through each other, for Moxley to just kind of tap and give up in his Scorpion Deathlock, I'm not loving it. I'm glad they finally put Darby over. Obviously he deserves it. He's deserved it for a long time. He constantly throws his body on the line, in ways that nobody else really can or will. So he deserves a big win like this, but, finish just seemed kind of weak to me. On the back end, could have been a little crazier. I'm glad they didn't go all out crazy, but it definitely could have been a little bit more insane. I will say, for being an I Quit match, I feel like they maybe kind of worked these out of order and gave the wrong guys the wrong victories or whatever. But it wasn't a bad match at all. The whole card was good as per usual with these AEW shows. As far as best match of the night, though, Fletcher and Briscoe was absolutely fantastic, but I will go with Brodito versus Okada and Takeshita for match of the night. I've said it 100 times. If Takeshita's usually in a match, he's probably going to be match of the night. There's few guys like that. There's your Fletchers, your Takeshitas, your Ospreys. If they're kind of in a match, it's probably going to end up being one of the better matches of the night. But Brodito's been a really good tag team so far. Okada, if he's in there with the right guy, can elevate his game still and be one of the best out there. But Takeshita's just on another level right now. Obviously, he's the new IWGP Heavyweight Champion, so just a really good showcase for the tag division, and two guys that are usually single stars being able to team with each other and have a really good match. So really good show. I probably could have picked 2 or 3 different matches, but Fletcher and Briscoe and that tag team title match are definitely the 2 I would definitely watch if you don't watch anything else. So really good stuff. But that'll do it for the week. I think we have Halloween Havoc coming up this week. It might be on Sunday, so I may cover it on 2 weeks from now, but I know it's next weekend. But obviously 2 big shows this week. I talked about both of them. Both ended up being pretty good shows, so definitely check out WrestleDream and check out a few of the matches that I mentioned from Bound for Glory as well. So thank you for joining me as always, and we will see you next week.
Crowd is here about to